Hello, I am Miss Ann, and welcome to this week of Speedy Science. In this week's activity, we are going to be making baking soda volcanoes. For this activity, you're going to need a cup, some baking soda, some vinegar, some warm water, a piece of paper, and a pencil. First, go ahead and add some warm water to the bottom of your cup. Should be good. Then, go ahead and add just a little bit of baking soda, not too much. This time, I'm going to start by only adding half a teaspoon. Then, go ahead and add in your vinegar. I like to measure the vinegar into a separate sized cup so that I know I'm adding the same amount of vinegar each time. And then, watch and see what happens. Wasn't that cool? What we saw was that they went high up until about this high up in the glass, but did not overflow. So I'm going to write that down on my results. My amount of baking soda was small, and the height was high, but did not overflow. Then, go ahead and either empty out your cup or get a new one. You want to empty out your cup each time because it will make sure that your results are consistent. Then, we're going to repeat the process, but this time add more baking soda. So start by adding some warm water to the bottom of the cup. Good. And then this time, we're going to add a bit more baking soda. This time, I'm going to add 1 whole teaspoon. So go ahead, scoop that out, and mix that in. And then, we're going to add vinegar. Remember, you want to add about the same amount of vinegar each time so your results are consistent. Now, let's see what happens. Oh! Did you see that? This time the reaction went over the side of the glass quickly. I'll write that down. So my amount was medium, and my height was overflowing a bit. Now, I'm going to go ahead and rinse off my cup, and you can also get a new cup if that's easier. And now, we're going to do the reaction one last time, and this time add a lot of baking soda. So first, I'll add the rest of my warm water to the bottom of the cup. And then this time, I'm going to add 1 whole tablespoon of baking soda. And lastly, we'll measure out our vinegar. And let's see what happens. Whoa! Did you see that? This time it overflowed a lot. So I'll go ahead and write that down. My amount of baking soda was large, and the height was overflowed a lot. Now that we saw what happened, let's talk about why. Baking soda is a base. and vinegar is an acid. In chemistry, when bases and acids combine, they form gas that escapes through the water in little bubbles. That's why you saw the foam that came up when the two reacted. It was the gas molecules creating and expanding to get out of the gas. And there you have it. How did your reactions go? Did you get the same results like I did, or did you get something different? Be sure to take pictures of your volcanoes and email them to us along with your results at the Alsop Library's Youth Services email address. I can't wait to hear from you. Bye! Hello, I'm Miss Ann, and welcome to this week's bonus activity. In today's video, we made baking soda volcanoes by using baking soda, vinegar, and water. And we changed the amount of baking soda in each volcano to see what different size reactions we get. Another way you can do this activity is to keep the amount of baking soda the same and instead try to use different types of acids. In today's video, our acid was vinegar, but there are different acids you can try. For example, lemon juice is a common acid. Make sure you use the same amount of baking soda and the same amount of each different kind of acid. By keeping these items the same, you can make sure your experiments are comparable. Then, make the different reactions and see how your results compare. What results do you get? Be sure to email us and let us know. I can't wait to hear from you. Bye!
Hello, I am Miss Ann, and now we're going to talk about some amazing books you can check out from the Kids Department at the Alsop Park Public Library. Because today's science activity was about volcanoes, here are some great books about volcanoes. Remember, to get books from our library, you can either come into the Kids Department and get them off the shelf, or you can place them on hold online or by calling the department for curbside pickup or home delivery. Our first book is My Mouth is a Volcano by Julia Cook. In this book, a young boy has trouble not talking. Whenever anyone else wants to talk, he suddenly has a volcano inside him and erupts into speech. Can he learn to control his ability to speak and stop interrupting others? This is a really great book about a problem we all share, so I hope it helps. Our next book is Zeg and the Egg by Mary Tilworth. This is a really cool book that combines monster trucks and dinosaurs. In this story, two monster trucks discover a dinosaur egg, and they know they need to return the egg to its nest to hatch. But their path is blocked by many obstacles, including a volcano. Can they ever make it to the egg's nest in time? Find out in this cool story. Our next book is Cats in the Crater by Murray O'Hara. In this book, a young boy is at evil scientist summer camp called Camp Mwahahaha, and he wants to be the evil emperor of the week. But that hasn't been going well so far. His main competition, he just found out, is actually the granddaughter of the inventor of the original volcanic layer. How is he supposed to compete with that? Or maybe he can find a way for them to work together, and together they can run the greatest evil empire of all time. Find out in this hilarious novel, Cats in the Crater. Our last book is Eruption, Volcanoes and the Science of Saving Lives by Elizabeth Rush. This story follows the true tale of the scientists who work for the United States government's Volcano Disaster Assistance Program, called the VDAP. These scientists work with governments around the globe to study different volcanoes and predict where they are going to erupt. By making these predictions ahead of time, the scientists are able to help evacuate local populations and save lives. This is a really cool explanation of the science behind volcanoes and how we can predict when they will erupt. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed these books. And remember, these are just a few of the many books about volcanoes we have at the Alsop Park Public Library. So please call or email us if you would like help finding these or other books. I can't wait to hear from you. Bye!